గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ రాఘవ్ సార్, నమస్కారం సార్.
నమస్తే రమణాయక్ గారు.
అన్నయ్య బాగున్నారా?
అంతా కులాసే సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
మిమ్మల్ని చూస్తుంటే మాకు 100 కిలోల బలం వస్తుంది సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. అడ్వాన్స్ హ్యాపీ ఉగాది.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అన్నయ్య. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. ఉండేది ఎక్కడ సార్? రాఘవ్ సార్ ఉండేది ఎక్కడ?
నేను అనుకోండి.
అనుకోండా? అదే మన పేరుగా వచ్చి ఫస్ట్ థ్యాంక్ యూ. థ్యాంక్ యూ. థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఒక వాట్సాప్ పెడతా, నాకు కొన్ని మొబైల్ నెంబర్ మిస్ అయినా మీకు చెప్తా మనోళ్ళే.
అలాగే.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అన్నయ్య గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
అలాగే. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
లైక్ దిస్ వే ఫాలోయింగ్. ఇవాళ కొత్త వాళ్ళు
చూపించండి. ఇది ఫస్ట్ ఆయన చేసిన తర్వాత
ప్రసాద్ జాలజ్ సాబ్ నమస్కార్ సార్. అన్మ్యూట్ కండి ప్రసాద్ జాలజ్ గారు. అన్మ్యూట్ కండి ప్లీజ్. అన్మ్యూట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. ప్రసాద్ జాలజ్ సాబ్ అన్మ్యూట్. డాక్టర్ హనుమాన్ జాయ్ సాబ్ కు నమస్కారాలు.
నమస్తే.
డాక్టర్ గిరీష్ సాబ్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్.
నమస్తే.
వరంగల్ నుంచి వెల్కమ్. జలా ప్రసాద్ జాలజ్ సాబ్ సాయంకాలం నమస్కారాలు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ సార్.
అమెరికన్ ఇన్ తెలుగు ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్. డాక్టర్ హనుమంత్ సాబ్ అన్మ్యూట్ కండి సార్. గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్
అన్నా, వెరీ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్.
బాగున్నా
అంత బాగుంది సార్.
సూపర్
మీరు
సార్.
తెలుగు రాగానే మాత్రం చల్లబడ్డది. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఇదేనా?
మీరు డాక్టర్ గిరీష్ సాబ్ ను మా బ్రహ్మాడ్ సాబ్.
నమస్తే బ్రహ్మారెడ్డి సాబ్.
నమస్తే అండి గిరిధర్ గారు, ఏఆర్సి రెడ్డి గారు.
ఓ, నమస్తే.
ఓపెన్ నో
ఏఆర్ రెడ్డి సాబ్ ను గిరీష్ సాబ్ కంబైండ్ ఇద్దరు కంబైండ్ 1/2
రాఘవల్ గారు.
నమస్తే సార్. నమస్తే.
నమస్తే సార్ అందరికి.
అశోకనా పేరు రాయి. Vivo 12403, please put your name.
నమస్తే. నమస్తే.
పేరు రాయి.
నమస్తే అశోక్ రెడ్డి గారు.
ఓ నమస్తే. నమస్తే జీ.
బాగున్నారా? నాగేష్ గారు.
నమస్తే.
నాగేష్ సాబ్ నమస్కారం.
నమస్తే అండి.
బాగున్నా సార్.
బాగున్నాండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
బ్రహ్మాండ రెడ్డి గారు ఎట్లా ఉన్నారు?
సార్ నమస్తే సార్, బాగున్నాము. చాలా రోజుల తర్వాత కనపడుతున్నారు.
కొద్దిగా
కనీసం కాదు సార్, మమ్మల్ని దగ్గర ఉన్నాడు కనీసం మాకు అప్పుడప్పుడు
ఆఫ్టర్ రిటైర్మెంట్ సర్వింగ్ ది డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఫర్ 36 years పర్సనల్ ఏం చేసుకోలేదు
సార్. మేము రిటైర్మెంట్ తర్వాత మోర్ యాక్టివ్ ఉన్నావు.
మనం ఎంజాయ్ మై రిటైర్మెంట్ లైఫ్ విత్ ఫ్యామిలీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అన్నమాట. కొద్దిగా టైం దొరకట్లేదు. సో ఈ రోజు జస్ట్ వాంటెడ్ టు ఇన్వాల్వ్. ఇది మా వరంగల్ పెడుతున్నారు కదా, అందుకని. ఐఎమ్ ఆల్సో నేటివ్ వరంగల్, హన్మకొండ.
ఓ నైస్ సార్, నైస్.
సార్ హన్మకొండ సెంటర్ మెంబర్షిప్ కావాలి నాగేష్ సాబ్.
ఏమండి?
హన్మకొండ సెంటర్ లో మెంబర్షిప్ పెరగాలి.
చెప్తాను మా వాళ్ళందరికీ.
ఏఆర్ రెడ్డి గారు, గిరీష్ సాబ్ ఉన్నారు
షూర్
సార్. మెంబర్షిప్ ఆర్ఈసీ
ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతాను సార్.
షూర్ షూర్ షూర్.
గారు నమస్తే అండి. నేను హనుమకొండేనండి.
రాఘవ సాబ్ హన్మకొండ గుర్తు. కొంచెం మెంబర్షిప్ పెంచాలి. నాకు కొత్తగా జాయిన్ అయ్యారు చాలా మంది.
కొత్త వాళ్ళు
కొంచెం ఇంట్రెస్ట్ పెట్టి మన ఆర్ఈసీ కొత్త ఎంటెక్ స్టూడెంట్స్ అందరికి జాయిన్ అయిపోయాయి.
అవును.
ప్లస్ ఎందుకంటే మెంబర్షిప్ కొద్దిగా పెరగాలి. ప్రసాద్ జలజ్ సాబ్, యూ కెన్ గో ఫర్ ఆన్లైన్ ఆల్సో. In civil engineering, we crossed 4,000 membership. 4,000 cross session. మీకు పెట్టానా జాయింట్ లింక్? మీకు పెట్టా? జీవన్ గారు జీవన్.
అది లింక్ చాలా మందికి రీచ్ అవ్వలేదు అనుకుంటా.
పెట్టినాయి
సార్. మన గ్రూప్ అన్నిట్లో పెట్టాం సార్. మనం
ఇవాళ పెట్టాం సార్, కొద్దిగా ముందు పెట్టి రిమైండ్ పెడితే వెళ్ళలేదు. నిన్న పెడదాం అనుకున్నా, నేను కూడా అట్లా తిరుగుతుందని మర్చిపోయా. ఇవాళ టోటల్ గా పొద్దున 8:30 నుంచి ఇప్పుడు దాకా ట్రావెల్. విజయవాడ 2 సార్లు వేరే సిటీలో
హైవే.
పొద్దున 7:30 ఇక్కడికి పోయా. అక్కడి నుంచి మళ్ళీ కీసర్ పోయా. కీసర్ నుంచి మళ్ళీ అదే కొత్త రోడ్ ఒకటి వేసారని ఆ రోడ్లో పోయాం. చెర్లపల్లి, కుషాయిగూడ, పిసాయిగూడ అని పోయాం. దరిద్రం రోడ్ 20 కిలోమీటర్స్. ఉస్మానియాకి వచ్చా. ఉస్మానియా దగ్గర లంచ్ చేసి మళ్ళీ రామంతపూర్ పోయి ఇరుక్కుపోయా. ఇప్పుడు రామంతపూర్ నుంచి ఇక్కడికి వచ్చాను.
రాత గురించి రాసింది సార్. నేను ఫస్ట్ అన్నా, నువ్వు అర్జెంట్ ఉంటే వెళ్ళిపోండి. లేదు సార్ అన్నా, నువ్వు అర్జెంట్ ఉంటే వెళ్ళిపోండి. అదే అంటే మళ్ళీ మేమంటే కబడ్డీ మీటింగ్ అనుకోటి.
సరే
ఓకేనా? సార్ పంపిస్తున్నా సార్ చాలా డెవలప్ ఫర్ రామగుండ వరంగల్ మొత్తం ఏంటంటే జీరో ఉంది అక్కడ ఆరెంజ్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ వీఆర్ ఎన్రోలింగ్ మొత్తం అవార్డ్స్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ రిమార్క్స్ వి గాట్ ఆల్ అవార్డ్స్ 21 నేను 20 బెస్ట్ టీచింగ్ అవార్డ్ బెస్ట్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ అవార్డ్ ఇప్పుడు ఏంటి రేపు జూనియర్ నెక్స్ట్ మనమే ప్రమాదం ఉంది ఇప్పుడు మీరే నంబర్ అయ్యే ప్రమాదం ఉంది అయ్యే ప్రమాదం ఉంది ఇక మన వాళ్ళంతా కామన్ ఉంటే నేను నా తర్వాత ప్రమాదం సార్ నా పేరు సార్ కాదు సార్ సార్ ముందు సార్ మళ్ళీ తిన సార్ we have to bring the
చైర్మన్ గారు
మీరు ఒకసారి ఫోన్ చేయండి ఎప్పుడున్నా మనకి ఇది మినీ హాల్ అప్పుడు మీటింగ్ అవుతుంటాయి ఇది కాల్ బిల్డింగ్ మీద ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ బిల్డింగ్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్ దిస్ ఇస్ ఎలాంటి సార్ ఎలాంటి విషయం
సార్ గిరిధర్ గారు పడుతుందా
ఇది మనం కమిటీ మీటింగ్ అవుతుంది అది మెయిన్ హాల్ ఇది మినీ
వరంగల్ రామచంద్రారెడ్డి గారు
సార్ నమస్తే
లైబ్రరీ
నమస్తే నమస్తే సార్ అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నమస్తే హనుమంతాచారి గారు.
సరే జనరల్ లాస్ట్ ఓకే మెసేజ్ వస్తాను చూడండి
హలో గిరిధర్ గారు
సార్ స్టార్ట్ చేయండి సార్ స్టార్ట్ చేయండి జాయిన్ అయిన వాళ్ళు జాయిన్ అవుతారు ఆల్రెడీ 16 మంది ఉన్నారు
ఓకే
మరి వారు నమస్కారాలు మరి సార్
నమస్తే నమస్తే రామ్ నాయ బాయ్ సాబ్
హౌ ఆర్ యు అన్నయ్య
ఫైన్ ఫైన్ అన్నయ్య థ్యాంక్ యూ
యు ఆర్ స్టిల్ ఇన్ అసెంబ్లీ స్టిల్ ఇన్ అసెంబ్లీ
నేను వచ్చానన్నా బయటకు వచ్చాను
కదా టైం ఉంటే కప్ ఆఫ్ కాఫీ
ఎక్కడికన్నా
సార్ చారీ సార్ నమస్తే సార్
నమస్తే బ్రహ్మారెడ్డి సార్
అందరికి నమస్తే
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ టు ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ.
ఏంటి మీరు ఏదో కార్ లోనో ప్లేన్ లోనో ఉన్నట్టు ఉంది రమేష్ గారు
Can I start it, sir? Should I wait some time?
కారా ఫ్లైటా
హెలికాప్టర్ సార్ హెలికాప్టర్
అదే అలాగే ఉంది అది వెనక పైన చూడండి డోము
హరి మాయాజాలం సార్ డాక్టర్ గిరీష్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ 2 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
గిరిధర్ గారు నమస్కారం సీతారాంబాబు అండి
నమస్తే నమస్కారం అండి.
సార్ తర్వాత మాట్లాడదాం సార్ వన్ డే ఈవెంట్ కూడా మాట్లాడదాం ఇంకోటి
సారీ
Okay,
సార్
that's fine.
సెంటర్ అన్ని మీటింగ్లు అటెండ్ అవ్వాల్సిన 22, 24, 25 ఆల్ సెంటర్స్
నమస్కారం బాబు గారు.
నమస్తే నమస్తే సార్ నమస్తే సార్ నమస్తే సార్ నమస్తే మీకు అన్ని అందుతున్నాయి కదా సార్
సీనియర్ ప్రొఫెసర్ రామానుజాచార్యులు సార్ నమస్తే
నమస్తే.
రామచంద్రారెడ్డి గారు నమస్కారం సార్
నమస్తే సార్.
రామచంద్రెడ్డి గారు
సార్
నమస్తే సార్ గిరిధర్ గారు
నమస్తే నమస్తే సార్.
స్టార్ట్ చేయండి సార్ ఇంకా
ఓకే సార్.
ఎంత
22వ తారీఖు రామగుండంది మధ్యలో హ్యాక్ అయిందండి మన జూమ్ మీటింగ్. దెర్ వాజ్ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ డిస్టర్బెన్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ ది కీనోట్ స్పీకర్ అడ్రస్. సో ఇప్పుడు కూడా నాకు ఏదో వచ్చింది, ఇక్కడ నాకు డౌట్ వస్తుంది. బట్ బీ కేర్ఫుల్, ఇఫ్ ఇట్ కమ్స్ విల్ క్లోజ్ అండ్ సెండ్ అనదర్ లింక్.
ఎస్ సార్. సార్ ఉన్నారు కదా సార్, ఎవరు కీనోట్ స్పీకర్ సార్ ప్రసాద్ సార్ ఉన్నారు కదా సార్. ప్రసాద్ సార్ ఇక్కడ లేదు, జాయిన్ అవుతారండి.
ఉన్నాను సార్, జాయిన్ అయ్యాను.
జాయిన్ అయ్యారు. ఓకే సార్, నమస్తే సార్. నమస్తే
సార్, స్టార్ట్ చేయండి సార్. ఆయన వచ్చారు కీనోట్ స్పీకర్, నో ప్రాబ్లం. దెన్ ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ పీపుల్ కీప్ జాయినింగ్.
ఓకే సార్.
Good evening to all of you, sir. Today, World Water Day. The theme of this today's topic is glacier preservation, safeguarding the future of water. Respected Chief Guest, Engineer B. Brahmareddy, FIE Garu, former SDG and past Chairman of Telangana State Center, and eminent keynote speaker Dr. Prasad, NRI social entrepreneur and founder of Suraksha at Austin, USA. Dr. A.V. Giridhar, Honorary Secretary, and Dr. K. Anand Kishore, Joint Honorary Secretary and Convener of this event. Dignitaries, esteemed guests, fellow engineers, committee members, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening again. It is my privilege to welcome you all to this significant occasion, World Water Day 2025, where we unite to celebrate and reflect on one of our planet's most essential resources, that is water. This year's theme, Glacier Preservation, Safeguarding the Future of Water, is a powerful reminder of the urgent need to protect our natural freshwater reservoirs that are glaciers. I would like to bring to your notice about significance of World Water Day. Every year on March 22nd, the world together highlight the importance of water and advocate its sustainable management. Today, we gather to discuss glacier preservation. We acknowledge the immense role glaciers play in regulating climate, sustaining ecosystems, and supplying water to millions of people globally. However, climate change is causing glaciers to melt at an alarming rate, posing severe risks to water security and agriculture and biodiversity. I would like to brief you about the Institution of Engineers, commonly referred to as IGI. It is a professional body that represents engineers across various disciplines in India. It was founded in 1920 and incorporated in 1935, headquarters in Kolkata. The primary aim of the institution is to promote the development of the engineering profession and assist in the advancement of technology and provide a platform for professional growth, knowledge and exchange networking. IEI works to enhance the standards of the engineering education, ethics, practices, while also focusing on fostering the growth of engineering community in India. It conducts various conferences, seminars, and technical events and offers memberships for engineers in fields such as civil, mechanical, electrical, and other disciplines. The institution is also involved in engineering research, collaborating with academic institutions and providing certification for engineers. Regarding the Warangal Local Center, it is one of the Telangana region chapters of IGI located in the premises of NIT Warangal and serves as a hub for engineers in the region, facilitating various professional activities, including technical lectures, workshops, training programs, and networking opportunities. The center aims to promote the growth of the engineering community in Kothagudem and also the surrounding areas by providing the resources, knowledge, exchange, and opportunities for professional development. On behalf of Warangal Local Center and on my behalf, I extend my warmest welcome to our chief guest, distinguished speaker, researchers, students, and all attendees who have joined us today on this pleasant evening. Your presence reflects a shared commitment to addressing one of the most pressing environmental challenges of our time. Glaciers are often called nature's water banks, slowly releasing water to sustain rivers and communities. But today, these natural reservoirs are sinking, leading to the rising sea levels and unpredictable weather patterns. Increased risk of glacial lake problem, threats to water supply, agriculture, and hydroelectric power. As we move forward in today's discussions, we must explore innovative engineering solutions, policy inventions, and community-driven efforts to protect our glaciers and secure sustainable water future. This event is a call to action, whether through conserving water, reducing carbon footprints, or supporting glacier monitoring initiatives. Every effort, it counts. Let us use today as a platform to exchange ideas, inspire change, and reaffirm our commitment to preserving glaciers and securing water for future generations. With this, I officially declare the World Water Day 2025 event open and request the Honorable Secretary to introduce our keynote speaker before we invite him to enlighten us on the theme glaciers preservation. And in this connection, I want to mention one or two sentences. Recently, I attended the Hyderabad State IEI Center. There was a very good seminar I have ever seen, and the convener of the seminar was Dr. Engineer Mari Ramesh and Venkata Subbaya Garu and Brahma Reddy Garu. All together, they conducted the program very, very nicely. I really appreciate their efforts. Everything was very nice. The program was on 19th and 20th this month, and it was well organized. Sitaram Garu, yes. So thank you all for listening to this.
And now it's my privilege to introduce today's eminent speaker, Dr. Prasad Jaladi, social entrepreneur, founder and chief facilitator of Suraksha. Dr. Prasad Jaladi is the founder and chief facilitator at Suraksha. He has executive experience in life sciences and IT, including emerging technology. He has obtained master's degree in organic chemistry from Bhavnagar University, Gujarat. Dr. Prasad has worked in pharmaceutical industry, managed QA, R&D, pilot commercial manufacturing and consulting for the manufacturing of bulk active pharmaceutical ingredients. He obtained professional training in ERP and CRM. Dr. Prasad managed IT consulting and bio IT businesses from Silicon Valley and Texas. He has supported companies, universities, government and private research institutions and hospitals with IT consulting, SaaS and training programs in the North and South Americas. He has built international partnership to promote STEM, innovation and entrepreneurship. Prasad has supporting sustainable innovation and involved in technology commercialization projects. He was an ambassador for Island Innovation and is an ambassador for My Green Lab. Dr. Prasad is a speaker at international forums on innovation for sustainable planet and a mentor at startup incubators in the US and India. He has hosted international conferences and workshops for supporting STEM professional and workforce development, innovation, and entrepreneurship, and also monitoring training programs, software for protecting the environment and achieving sustainability. So with these words, I request our eminent speaker, Dr. Prasad Jaldi, to give a brief presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. A.V. Gupta Garu, for your excellent introduction. Thank you, everyone, and I appreciate this invitation. My special thanks to Dr. A.R. Reddy Garu, Dr. A.R. Reddy Garu, Chairman, IEI Warangal Local Center, Engineer B. Brahma Reddy Garu, former Chairman, IEI TSC, and Dr. K. Anand Kishore, FIE, convener of the event here, and again, Dr. A.B. Gilbert Garu introduced me here. I have a confession. I'm not a doctor and I'm not an engineer either. But, whenever I rub shoulders with great engineers like yourself, rubbing shoulders with great people like you would get me an honor of doctorate. Of course, I also did research and development in pharma industry. I had my final up on research opportunities also. In fact, I invented a couple of processes which were not patented in those days. This was 30 years ago story, but many of my friends think that I got PhD because of my interactions with them. Having said that, let's move on. I would be discussing a few things that may not be new to you, and I'm really fortunate to have friends like yourself and learning a lot whenever I speak with you. So let's navigate this in a way so that we all contemplate to learn from each other. I may not be telling you big things, but again, I would share what I know from that part of the world or around the world, interacting with different scientists, including atmospheric scientists, ocean scientists, and also me being a steering committee member to Texas Sustainable Business Network. So I might be talking about a few things that might bore you also. That's a disclaimer. So let me share my screen here. I hope you're all able to see the screen very well. Could you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Let me set the agenda straight. I would be bragging about a few minutes, less than 2 minutes, I promise, about Suraksha. And let's talk about glaciers, origin and facts, then move on to global glacier situation and the root cause of the glaciers retreat, which is the hot and burning topic all over the world today. And let's talk about how do we say glaciers from the retreat. And I would be also happy to do some closing remarks. This is the video. You may not be able to hear music, but it makes sense.
Sir, namaste. Great.
No sound, sir. Not able to hear any sound.
So overall, these are the activities that I involved in, including training to curb pollution. We do consulting and we do offer ESG reporting software, complying with the international standards, etc. We've been involved in green buildings, green hospitals and labs, green hotels and restaurants. And I am deeply involved in innovation, entrepreneurship, development, mentoring, and we are working with a global approach model. So let's talk about glacier topography. As some of you or many of you might be knowing, this would be obviously happens on bedrocks, and the ice accumulates, over a period of millions of years, and the snow cover would be also happening time in and time again, year after year for several centuries, and the top layer might be fluffy, but again at the bottom it would be formed as an ice, and middle area might be somewhat hardening time per the environmental conditions, and as they are forming, it would also encompass of creation of some lakes, crevasses, and some moulins, etc. So white snow covers usually, it also reflects sunshine to the environment back, protecting the ice below from melting. So that's a protective layer, whatever the top layer that is falling as a snow afresh, and more snow melts than accumulated glacier is exposed. When it happens, that would encourage the water melting and ice melting, and it leads to flooding, etc. Exposed ice, which is darker than snow, absorbs heat. That means the heating process of this ice speeds up, and then water that in turn melts into water and flows rapidly down the stream. So melted water pools on the glacier surface sometimes, and pooled water drains through the crevasses and moulins, breaking up ice and lubricating the glacier's base sometimes. So this would also end up like small glaciers breaking up and falling into oceans, etc. So the next thing is there are certain facts that we need to know or to refresh our minds. 10% of Earth's land area is covered by glaciers or ice sheets around the globe. 70% of Earth's freshwater exists as snow or ice. They're all included in the highest next to Mount Everest, the longest in the Alaskan region, the last remaining glaciers in Africa, among the others. 50 UNESCO World Heritage Sites are home to glaciers. They have been identified by the UNESCO. 50 sites covering around 66,000 kilometers squared. The area, the total of 18,600 glaciers have been identified around the globe so far. So I'm going to add a few more global glacier facts. I hope you're all able to hear me well.
Yes, sir. We are.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
We are able to hear, sir, properly.
Thank
Good,
you,
sir.
So moving on, more than 275,000 glaciers worldwide cover approximately 700,000 square kilometers, according to the World Meteorological Organization. The 2024 hydrological year marked the third year in a row in which all 19 glacier regions are experiencing net mass loss. This is mind-boggling, and we'll be discussing why this is happening so rapidly. Just to let you know, from 2000 to 2023, global glacier mass loss total around 6,542 billion tons around the globe. This is an average annual ice loss of 273 billion tons. And 2023 also witnessed a record mass loss of 548 billion tons, the largest annual loss around the globe also. Much higher than average ice loss was reported in Alaska, Central Europe, the southern Andes, and high mountain Asia, and New Zealand glaciers. Glaciers in the Western Canada and the USA, Scandinavia, Central Europe, the Caucasus, New Zealand, and the tropics may not survive the 21st century at the current melt rates. So we all need to pay a lot of attention around these developments. Further on, 450 million tons of mass was lost per Swiss-based World Glacier Monitoring Service data. So this is the global glacier retreat information. Glacier mass loss from the top 7 glaciarized regions between 2000 and 2019. The regions are numbered 1 as Alaska, 5 Greenland, periphery. I request the person who is unmuted to be muted because it's giving echo. I appreciate that. The third region is Arctic Canada North, fourth Arctic Canada South, and Arctic and subantarctic areas. 13, 14 regions are high mountains in Asia, Himalayan regions, etc. And 17th is the southern Andes. So you in the center, you can see the percentage contribution to glacier mass loss. On the right-hand side, mass loss of individual glaciers, gigatons per year. So Alaska is contributing a lot of loss, and I will be touching upon this matter again in the next few slides. And the Greenland is in the second position, losing 36 gigatons per year, and Arctic in the third position, 31 gigatons per year. Arctic Canada South, 27 gigatons per year. Antarctic and subantarctic, 21 gigatons. And high mountain Asian regions are losing 21 gigatons per year, and southern Andes is losing 21 gigatons per year. This has been studied by Hogan et al. In 2021. So this is almost the latest data that is available to the world. So this is another global glacier report, latest. So all the regions are numbered here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can patiently look at the percentage loss here. For the convenience, I would be reading out fast so that you won't be bored in reading. So the second one is Western Canada and USA, which lost 22.8%. Number one, as I mentioned earlier, lost 8.8%. And third is Arctic Canada, not 3%. Greenland, fourth is Arctic Canada, somewhere next to Alaska, right side of the Alaska. So 7.3%. Greenland, periphery 6.7%. 5.9% Iceland, and 5% Svalbard and Jan Mayen areas. And eighth position is Scandinavian, 14.4%. Ninth position is Russian Arctic, 3.2%. North Asia, 23.1%, Central Europe, 38.7%, South Asia West, 5%, Central Asia, 8.5%, Caucasus and Middle East area, 35.3%, South Asia East, especially 21.4%. These are all the glacier mass in 2000 gigatons calculated. So you can also take a look at the history over there with the color coding, etc. Moving on, this is one picture where that was taken recently flying over the French Alps glaciers. You can see the retreat, how fast it is happening. And this is again worrisome to everybody. Global glacier mass loss is happening rapidly. The analysis revealed that glaciers have lost between 2% and 39% of their ice regionally and approximately 5% globally. this is very important to note. We will be discussing on the reasons for why this is happening so rapidly in a bit. The largest regional global glacier mass loss is in Alaska with 22%, as we discussed earlier. Canadian Arctic is 20%, peripheral glaciers. The southern is about accounting for 10%. So we also have glaciers in India. Home of these glaciers is the Himalayan regions. I might be missing a few glaciers here, but major glaciers are Siachen Glacier in the Karakoram range, Gangotri Glacier in Uttarakhand, Jemu Glacier in Assam, Barashingri Glacier in Himachal Pradesh, Milam and Pindari glaciers in Karakoram and Uttarakhand respectively. So on the right, if you see, that is a scenario where a glacier is melting. It used to be a thick crust of ice and snow earlier, but all the rocks are exposed and the water is flowing down the stream. That's how this huge mass of ice block would be hollowed and turned out to be a water stream. So let's discuss about the root cause of the retreat, mining and industries together. So we all know mining is contributing a lot of emissions. So that's one thing. And the second one is also fossil fuel extraction. Third one is industries. Fourth one is our own travel, etc. And shipping and also air industry. Air travel industry. So how the global emissions are happening? This may not be the exact correct total emission list here, but more or less same, because this data was collected by me some time back. So China is leading the pack. It is emitting around 30.9% in comparison with the total global emissions. US is in the second position with 13.5%. India is also in the third position, unfortunately, contributing around 7.3%. You can see the rest of the countries' contribution down this chart. So I'm really concerned about the emissions in India. So I'll talk about those things. The consequences of all those emissions would lead to unpredictable hurricanes or cyclones, droughts, wildfires, and unpredictable rainfall in anywhere. The right-hand picture attached to this image is taken in Houston. So Houston is next to the ocean, and this is what's happening to the Houston city whenever there is a hurricane, most of the cases. So this is big trouble, and we need to look into the economies also in that thing. When we talk about India temperature rise as a root cause for glacial retreats, in general, in the past few decades, the temperatures have risen to the alarming levels, including in Delhi and mountain regions. So we need to pay attention on all those things to protect the glaciers and our own lives and also the environment at large. The next thing is, if we want to focus on Gangotri Glacier and the Himalayan glaciers in distress, etc., it all started at least recorded since 1935 to 2022, and these years are being that have been recorded are color coded. You can see how the glacier is going through the retreat year after year amongst a few years that were listed here. The stem is widening decade after decade. The study has found that the rate of the retreat is increasing exponentially And there are additional streams that are forming, cutting through these glaciers, which would be increasing the rate of loss of ice and melt and its melt, and also same thing with the snow and everything else. So the flooding due to the glacier, I would like to focus more on India because we are all Indians by birth, and we will be having more pressure on pressure in our country because unlike other countries, other than China, we are the largest populated country. So whatever happens would have a bigger impact on our nation. So let's see what is going on whenever the glaciers are melting. So flooding would happen because of the lake bursts and then also the dam breaches, etc. They would be all washed away. Even God has to face the wreath of the glacier, burst and lake burst at the same time. And not just that one, it also brings a lot of materials along with this wherever it flows on the flow path. So a lot of garbage, a lot of plastic, and a lot of things would happen along with the erosion of the land next to it. Collapse of the buildings, dams, trees, any infrastructure that is coming on its way. So one of the dried out scenarios is on the far right left. So this is an ugly picture. We all have to deal with these things. And if we flip this scenario with the financial loss and also health lives lost, it is heartbreaking. So we have to account all these things in a very careful way so that we would be planning down the road to avoid these calamities. So effects of global warming on glaciers is because of the melting of ice at accelerated rate, and the general loss of the ice mass is also happening at the same time. Implication of water resources would be sprouting out, and whenever these calamities happen, it may change the water flow and it may enter into new territories or overflow while passing by in the traditional pathways, etc. When it dries, the river flows decrease, and people would forget about the river flow decrease and behave as if they own the river, and they do some commercial activities, or even may start living over there, building buildings, or maybe some hydropower projects might be also being installed in those situations. But if we don't plan very effectively, they all would be unfortunately washed away, going to be washed away when these calamities happen. So when the global glaciers dry out, it would also lead to water scarcity. And there is another phenomenon called GLOFs, which means global lake outburst floods. When a natural glacial lake is overfilled with water, it would obviously outburst, and it would trigger a flood in an unimaginable dimension, so that people would caught in surprise, industries would caught in surprise, and the travelers would caught in surprise, and everything would be a surprise and chaos and destruction all the way along while it is happening. So this would also sometimes lead to formation of new glacial lakes again. And again, they would also create a havoc whenever these things happen, backed up by the big glaciers on the higher side of the mountains, and again create GLOFs. So this is a multiple cascading effect when things go wrong. So as we discussed, this caused devastating floods, and eventually all these rivers would lead into sea, right? So the sea level would also raise. Sometimes the data around sea level rise is very alarming and scary. Some scientists are saying that it might raise up to 10 to 50 meters in some regions. So that means there is a lot of issues. We are going to discuss about those things in a while. So let's talk about rivers in the Himalayan regions, because most of these rivers are getting the water from the glaciers directly, and these flow across some of the northern regions of India. So either in terms of flooding or glacier bursts, etc., there is a lot of devastation along the way. So these are all very long rivers, lengthy rivers also. They bring in huge volumes of water because of the floods and glacier melts, etc. So there are about 6 or 7 big rivers in these regions. So we all need to pay attention on all these rivers. When the glaciers are melting, they bring in extra water in the flowing regions, and sometimes due to the climatic conditions and also the monsoons and other situations would also create a havoc through these rivers, ranging from glacier level to downstreams. And eventually all this water leads into the ocean, which may again causes a lot of flooding along the lines or the banks of these rivers, etc. And everything would be affected, including dams, people livelihoods, industries, and a lot of properties. We also need to keep in mind this would also bring distress to health, because there would be a cause of diseases spreading in those regions because of the floods, etc. Unless we act quickly on remediating these impacts, everything would be chaos for a long time. Moving on, this is how the sea level is contemplated to raise. This is the picture taken by NASA. So these are all zones that are going to be affected by sea level rise, whether we like it or not. So there are a lot of areas that are going to be inundated by the sea level rise. And what happens then is, in all these regions, those who ever are living, those who are living in those regions should be moving to the interior parts. That means migration, internal migration, maybe external migration. For example, in Bangladesh, if that kind of situation arises, all the Bangladeshis are nowhere to go, but they try to enter into India, especially. So there might be a lot of immigration, and that gives a lot of stress on natural resources, employment, and other livelihood, etc. That could happen in any place, even in US, even in Europe, etc. And if these things started happening repeatedly, more and more people would be displaced from that place, and settlement again in those new regions would be hard for many. So local issues would pop up. Local and non-local issues would pop up, and religious issues and cultural issues, and unemployment would be increasing. So education and food is also going to be a problem, because when that happens, we will be also dealing with new stresses on all areas, including agriculture. So these are all the consequences of the melting glaciers rapidly. and we need to be really careful before 2050 so that we don't have to struggle with all these things. This is not to scare anybody, but this is the reality that our generation especially may experience at least halfway through. So again, we need to focus more on India, especially Indian cities. Unfortunately, most of the populated cities out of 30 cities highly polluted in the world are in India. So I'm trying to give some information on highly polluted cities. And unfortunately, nowadays, we took the title of highly polluted city crown from Beijing, from China recently. That is not a good news. So we are on the path of traveling in the Delhi route. So we need to be very careful in managing our pollution in any city, wherever we are living from now onwards. So this is a big problem for any city. So we all would go through the issues that Beijing and Delhi are going through today. And summers are horrible and winters also horrible. And of course, rainy season would be also horrible because whenever these things happen, we have to not only deal with the climate and weather conditions, and also financial losses because of the flooding and fires and other stuff, and health issues, which would put a big dent in the national expenditure, and also we need to spend a lot of money economically as well. So these are all the things that would happen if we don't pay attention in the near future. So how we adopt all those things, utilize, leaning on to UN SDGs. We would be dealing with these things in three buckets. One is environmental aspect, second one is social aspect, and the third one is governance aspect. The environmental aspect, if you are paying attention to this slide, is 6 clean water and sanitation, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13 climate action, 14 life underwater, and 15 life on land, etc. Social aspects are no poverty, no hunger, and good health, good education, gender equality, etc. And 8 and 9 and 12 are also important. And then end of the day, we all need peace, justice, and strong institutions at the same time. So on the governance side, we would be talking about the gender equality, and innovation, and all sustainability aspects, innovation, city-wise sustainable cities, and climate action, and 16 as usual, peace, justice, and other things. And to achieve anything of these, we all need to partner also. So without partnerships, these things are not possible. Of course, we are running late on UN SDGs execution also. We are supposed to achieve so many milestones by 2030, but we just have 5 years to reach all those goals, which seem to be practically impossible. So we need to gear up and catch up a few things. We all know that it is not going to happen within 5 minutes, but we might try to catch up within the next few years so that we'll be reaching our goals very soon, even in the middle of the next decade. So how do we save glaciers? We discussed what are the stress points to deal with the glacier melting. So we listed some industries. We need to keep a tab on all those things, including our own travel, mining, and using extraction and utilization of fossil fuels, etc. And we need to create a new framework of industrialization through green industry framework. We need to educate each other, and every school need to be educated on environment, irrespective of kindergarten or post-graduation. I'm personally involving in greening the education all over the through the UNESCO. If you, we can also partner with any university here in India or abroad, so that we can quickly move some courses with our support. And I'm deeply involved in other organizations also, where we want to move the needle as fast as possible, because without education, without workforce, without having knowledge and sharing the knowledge, we cannot prevent this kind of calamities ever. So that is my ask for you here. Please reach out to us so that we can collectively do some work together, so that we can educate we all can relearn on a few things. Even I'm learning every day. I hope you're also doing like me, but again, that's not enough. The reason being, the climate issue is a disciplinary approach. So we all need to have a tab reasonably at the same time, so that we do not repeat the same mistakes. So this is my humble request to you guys. It doesn't matter. I personally created a few training programs targeting chemical industry, chemical enterprise, on how we from now onwards do innovation, do R&D, create workforce, working along the lines of sustainability principles, so that from ideation to global market, everything included. We have designed some training programs, and we are open to collaborate with academic institutions anywhere, irrespective of what level they are at. We will be working together and put together some rapid training programs, like the way how IT training programs happen. We are also actually involved in some information security programs, because AI is moving faster than we have expected a few years ago. So it needs the utmost care in security provision. Otherwise, all those things are wide open, and we will be getting into big problem pretty soon. So how do we prevent these things? I put everything in the green letters at the bottom. We have to leverage native knowledge also. What I mean by that is, when we are talking about the glacier retreats, many people who are living in the high mountain regions have some knowledge, native knowledge, irrespective of what an engineer has. They have some practical experiences over there. We have to put that kind of native knowledge also into the account, along with our engineering skills. We are sure that would work, but they know all the water flow things for decades. So we need to take their knowledge also into the account and design certain things, so that these infrastructures would save everybody. So we need to approach that kind of thing, irrespective of our knowledge, egos, all this kind of thing. And we should enforce government also to look into all these aspects, irrespective of whether we need to start a project immediately or not. Budgets are there, but again, that budget would turn out to be budget and investment. That would be in billions of dollars, or maybe in rupees, maybe trillions. Along the way, where these glaciers are present, would be decimated within a fraction of few minutes. So we have seen all these in front of us. So let's not repeat the same old mistakes again and again. So other thing is, we all are interested to see places, right? Especially in the high mountain regions. For many, it is also a religious voyage. But again, when we contemplate for such journeys, we should be really looking into a thing. Do we really help by going there, help the nature by going there? Do we really care about these glaciers which are providing us water relentlessly since many centuries, maybe millions of years? So these are all the things that we need to keep in mind, not just that one. When we go there, we carry plastic and all the other risky things that would damage the climate. And not only the environment, but also pollute the glaciers, etc. So all those things, whatever being left there, would be flowing down again, down the stream, coming through the rivers, touching our rivers again. Sometimes, it would leave certain things over there, so that we have to clean those things. These are all flowing in huge volumes. So if you just check, think about the plastic pollution itself, it breaks anybody's heart. This is out of control as well. So engineering side of it, no matter how smart we are in engineering, we need to be careful. I would emphasize on these things. And since I am from US, military engineers also built levees in New Orleans area. When the hurricane comes in a big way, they started breaching, and they have to rebuild the entire city again. And many of those people lost everything, right? Sometimes they have to live for a few days on the domes of the sports centers. Sometimes in the conference centers over there, sometimes in the sports complexes, etc. Nobody knows how long it would be, and this happens with the power loss also. I mean, the electricity, there will be no electricity, no drinking water, no healthcare facilities operating in that kind of distress situation. When engineers of such level, military level, which pumped water decade after decade, thought nothing would happen because of their engineering strength, suddenly a hurricane comes and it would shatter their efficiency to zero within few hours. So that is what we have to deal as engineers. So we have to have solid planning, keeping the long-term benefits in mind, spending the public and private and government money very responsibly, and follow the wait and see game, and learn lessons from all these Western countries' mistakes. The information is in front of our eyes. So we have to leverage that information so that we would not get into that kind of problems again. Again, afforestation is important because of the losing forest in these high mountain regions. As we all know, the root system holds up the mud and sometimes the ice, etc. Maybe rocks also would do the same thing. When they are exposed, they would be having no capacity to hold the soil or the ice. So this is happening repeatedly in many areas, like in Alaska, even in California, even in the scenarios like fire in the forests. The trees go because of the heat and burning, and if there is any water coming down through rain or something else, there is nothing to hold on the soil and the rocks, so they would slip down from those hills to the nearest places. Rock falling would happen, mudslides would happen, and people would also die on such incidents. Even the highways are being washed away in that manner. We have seen the same story going on in recent floods in Kerala. So the scenarios are more or less same if we do such mistakes. So the other thing is we need to collect the data very sincerely and we need to apply that data, do analysis, and try to come up with a game plan whether we need to live there or not. We should be very careful on disturbing the eco thing. We think we are smart in transporting people over there and heavy vehicles, etc., to those precious places, pristine places, but it would obviously disturb the ecology, number one, and also the geological, disturbances, etc. So we don't know all those implications, even though we feel like we know all those things. Having strict regulations is important, and at the same time, implementing strict regulations is also more important than having strict regulations on paper. So these are all the things that we could think of. And of course, hydroelectric projects and nuclear projects may also prop up, are still in planning. Given the experiences we have so far in the Himalayan glacier regions, we have to be really careful on whatever we do. I believe we have to slow down on anything, even if it is for religious purpose. We are not helping the higher altitude areas to sustain in the long run. But for now, it might seems to be moksha path. But again, I would always remind everybody, the first step to moksha is to protect the environment or nature that God has given us in the first place. Then we should follow whatever God could give us. Meaning, God has given us that pleasant thing to protect us, but we are destroying it knowingly or unknowingly. So if we think that we are smarter to ask God again by destroying what He has given in the first place, I think it won't make any sense in many occasions. And I will be moving along real quick. So this is the how to save the glacier analogy from my point of view. And we need to reduce the temperature. We are at almost 1.5 or more. Some of my scientist friends are telling we are hitting 2%. Each degree would make our life miserable, and also make glaciers' life miserable also. We all have to face that bad conditions down the road if we ignore the global temperature rise, even our own country temperature rise. So we need to do all those things, including growing plants and planting trees to improve forestation and to hold the responsible positions, and even electing people who should be responsible for this kind of acts. They are the ultimate protectors of our democracy and also the nature at the same time. I mean the environment of the country at the same time. So if we are not paying that thing, we are cutting the branch that we are sitting upon. So the consequences, how it would turn out to be. This is moral we learned since our childhood. So we should be keeping this in mind all the times when we deal with the environment, glaciers especially, and other things like oceans and other agriculture, forests, etc. This would typically apply for anything that we do here onwards, because the planet would be there forever. We have to figure out whether we need to stay here safely or not. So if something goes wrong, we are pulling ourselves towards an extinction, I would say mass extinction, maybe self-genocide, ignoring all the planetary boundaries and its rules and regulations. So that should be preventable. So thank you so much for your patience. I hope I gave you some information that is useful for all of us to learn and relearn and progress as a very progressive civilization and sustainable civilization in the near future. Thank you again for the opportunity to all eminent engineers here, and my I enjoyed giving this talk, and I hope the same with you. And let's open our discussion for questions and other program further on.
So thank you so much, sir, for your nice presentation, giving awareness about the glaciers preservation.
So thank you, sir. Your presentation is very, very good beyond my expectation, and you have given a lot of details. I was reading here and there, but so much details I did not get anywhere. I do not know how much time you invested, but your information given is very high, and I never expected this. It is highly practical, and you have collected the information not only one country, for different countries, the glacial preservation methods you have seen, and we really benefited. We thank you very much for your contribution, and really we felt a lot of happy with your presentation. Sir, one question is, okay, sir, whatever it is happening because of all the problems, industrial problems and pollution problems. Now, what are the practical? I do not know. It is not easy solution also. But what are the practical methods, practical way out, how to minimize this effect? Because after some time, I do not know present how much percentage of water melted and what is the remaining one. And if it continues further, and then it will be lot more problem. Now, what are the practical method, how we should enforce the governments, what way we can do, and see that at least further melting is minimized? Because you already contribute a lot of time, you might be knowing much more. We are laymen, and myself, I do not know much. Kindly, if it is possible, kindly give us some details how to minimize this.
Sure, sir. First of all, thank you for your kind words. Sometimes, the data is collected through my previous talks, because on average, I would be giving 3 talks, even if it is in the middle of the night from US, to bring awareness on all those things. That's my life nowadays. So we all need to learn about these things. We all need to co-learn and also reduce the knowledge gap and information gap between the 2 continents, so that we can collectively take engineering decisions, knowledge dissemination, education, so on and so forth. Having said that, I do sit in some meetings, so where I make some notes and collect this data, and I'm also glad that you enjoyed the information. In general, it's really challenging to put data to the engineers, because you would be reading a lot of data, right, every day, right? You're all engineers, you teach, and it is a big challenge. And I'm humbled with your comment, and thank you for that. And about the solution, I take the old-fashioned prevention is better than cure route. I'm a chemist. I was thinking I'm making medicines for almost 15 years, and I had my hands on 20 active pharmaceutical ingredients. I was thinking I'm saving lives. And I also have an attitude of being sensitive to the environment also. When I started working, there are no common effluent treatment plants either. And I started worrying about those days also, about how do we deal with these things. When we do things at an industrial level, sometimes we cannot control that thing, right? At the end of the day, we have to crunch numbers, maybe profit, maybe all those things. The ethics in that run would be vain, and it is really tough to enforce such ethics, from top to bottom and bottom up, because we are living in a materialistic world nowadays. We need money and we need fame also. So once we get on that horse, it is really hard to get down. So let's start with prevention is better than cure. What I mean by that is, we know the the problems, we know the consequences. So how do we slow down on all those things? So my first attack is bringing awareness to the communities, irrespective of what educational background they have, number one, and put this into action in educational institutions, because students would also learn these things, learn about these things, and we are also preparing future workforce on that path. And the third thing is save the water. We all have this attitude of using more water. We are using because we feel it is abundant, but water is a finite resource. I will tell you a small story. I was asking my brother several years ago, how is water situation in your area? He lives in Hyderabad, and he said to me, we have no problem. And I really thought they have no problem. So 5 years later, I asked the same question: how is the water situation in your region nowadays? He said this. He told me the same answer. So and he started talking about a water tanker. All of a sudden, overflow. Then I asked, what is this water tank about? And he said, we use water tanker to get water into our apartment sump. And I reminded him, hey, you told me that you have no water problem. So he started explaining me, no, we don't have this water problem, but we are still getting water through water tankers since you asked me first time. That means this problem is there for 10 years. That means they're getting the water tanker and started thinking that bringing water in water tanks is not a water problem for them. This is how our psychology turned out to be nowadays. So instead of that thing, if we think about how we store water, maybe the rain harvesting or other things, we might be better off. But we still have time. We can practice all those things. We can collect. We should be saving water. No, we might be getting water to Telangana, maybe Andhra, from different lively rivers. But again, we never know what happens. Imagine if we go through a drought for 1 year, the fate of the country would change. Look at the African country's situation. We are at the dire situation. We are surviving because of the God grace or somebody's grace. So we have to be careful in how we manage our needs from now onwards. Let it be water. Let it be our own travel also. I'm having fun in my home in recent decades because I vehemently rejecting our annual foreign tours with family. So when I'm talking in this kind of forums, I want to be honest, right? I'm telling this is happening this way, that is happening that way. So if I go on spewing carbon dioxide, either A, on gas guzzling car, B through flights. Even for my talks also, I plead my invitees to let me use Google Meet or Zoom of that sort, so that I would lessen my own carbon footprint. And more than that, I would speak the same thing in the temple. I would speak the same thing in elementary school also. When I say these things, when I tell a kid that it would take 1,500 liters to make a t-shirt, they stand up and raise their hand and say, Prasad, sir, we don't want to buy new t-shirts anymore to save water. If the kid is getting that kind of signals from a layman's talk like this, what should we be doing as adults? And same thing with the agriculture also, farmers also. I go to them and say, hey, let's figure out a different idea than rice, because it consumes almost 2,250 liters of water. Maybe some other crops are also at the same level. So we do that year after year, and the cyclone comes and farmers lose the crop. So we are at loss from both the sides. So what are the other things? What are the other things we could do. So for such scenarios, I would suggest certain high value antioxidants, where we could do those things on land with fresh water or even with the marine water also, so that we would do those things. Perhaps, we could also figure out some other alternatives to save save water from other crops also. These are all the ideas that I could tell it on surface, but there could be some more things. We could create some coverage to the canals and the lakes also through solar panels, so that we would reduce the evaporation of water and can produce energy at the same time. So these are all few ideas. We can get into details. We can do this kind of problem-specific seminars also on these things, so that we can come up with ideas to solve the regional or local problems at least. If you could figure out one good idea to save anything environmentally for Warangal, you are the master of that universe, and you would be rewarded also. Actually, government should do this kind of reward. They should announce such kind of rewards in the local area, so that we start innovating more than servicing more, right? Look at all our industries. We are serving for other nations. If they could give us business, we are having jobs. Otherwise, we are in trouble for jobs. Our kids are in trouble for jobs. I hope I should stop here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And at the same time, some biofuel ideas also. We can, in terms of, what we call sustainable aviation fuels. We could do those things from algae, etc. So that is one area too. We may not be exactly reducing that much footprint, but again, what do we do after fossil fuel is over? We need alternative ideas apart from solar, wind, perhaps tidal energy.
Tidal, I think, is less, but solar, sir, India, fortunately, we are having lot of solar energy, but most of it, I think we are not using it so far. Only little bit we are using. I think India should concentrate more on solar, and wind also, I feel less only. And I think India, fortunately, has got lot of solar energy. I think India should concentrate so that pollution reduces and India will be benefited.
I agree totally with you, sir. That is the best option we have now, given the costs are going down. And the other thing that I suggest, while we are doing solar also, let's think about the circularity also. Once we install these solar panels, when their life is over after maybe 15-20 years, according to the current norms and the materials we use, we figure out how to reuse those things, extracting materials instead of dumping them into the landfills, etc. So the reason why I'm saying that is California. I lived in California also, and I pay attention to the sustainability approaches over there on the technologies, whatnot, including the Tesla lithium-ion batteries, etc. Actually, I know lithium-ion battery inventor, John Goodenough. He passed away unfortunately last year, and I was trying to help some companies in India to work with him on developing some energy ideas through the batteries, etc. Having said that, if we have a contingency plan along with the installation of solar panels in the circularity model, instead of dumping them into landfills and go through all the havocs, like all the seepages, etc., due to the heavy metals and all those stuff, and get into situations like getting more cancers, etc., because of these dangerous chemicals again. I'm wearing my chemistry hat again. So we will be better off, and we will be detaching and reusing those things. And the reason is that also fits into the donut economy. We need to contemplate all these issues in advance, being engineers, and should be able to extract those things. That way, we could also save these precious metals to our next generation. They should be also able to do some research and development and innovation, so on and so forth. And we won't be digging up much much materials also which are precious, because all those materials are finite, not infinite.
Yes. So also nowadays, sustainable hydrogen, those also emerging, sir. Hydrogen.
Yes, sir. Let's be careful in what we are saying, you know. So, honestly, many people would be having a little bit problem with me. For me, sustainability means 360 degrees sustainable. We could cover whatever way we want, but again, unless we fix those things, I campaign for the 360 degrees sustainability. Now, when we make urea and then turn it into turn it into hydrogen, we are on a different path. Like, CNG. If we add CNG, green CNG before CNG, actually and truly, it is not green, right? No, that is more or less greenwashing, right? So we should be careful, because you have more responsibility than me, because you are the Vishwagurus. So let's be careful on what we are trying to do these things. I always bring up another notion that let's not run on the caption economy. What I mean by that is, the world is running on a few things, AI and all those things. First, we need to account from where we are going to bring our energy from. Are we going to bring it from coal or something else? So if we do that kind of way, in a traditional way, we are again getting into more problems. We're already running on 60% of coal in India. Even the world story is also more or less like that. But again, we need to look into the long-term prospects of this thing, and how do we balance these things in general is also an important. That's where we need to use our brain child. I'm telling all these things because sometimes I involved in some meetings like American Science of Academy, etc., where there are some scientists boldly tell we need to deal with these things first also before we put these statements out. So we need good alternatives, but again, it should not be a catchphrase economy again, right? Otherwise, we will be getting into trouble. We should not be doing something to create another problem. So we cannot solve a problem by creating another problem, right? That's how.
How about wind energy, sir? Wind energy also, it is.
Wind energy sounds really great, but again, footprint and all the installation costs, so on and so forth. It is good, as long as there are complaints on sound and other things. For any technology, for that matter, as you know, there are pros and cons. But what is useful for our economy, our people, our needs?
Our needs.
That is important. I talk about the regional aspirations. Being educators, being local leaders, being mentors, and we have to work hand in hand on our aspirations, local aspirations, right? So that also include how do we encourage sustainable industries around different geographies, etc., within our country, so that every region would get benefit out of this kind of models. And one area has specialized in one specific thing, maybe minerals, maybe something else. So you all know all those things. I'm sorry, I don't want to preach the choir again. So thank you for the question. Anyway.
Thank you. Thank you.
But what I feel is India, the wind availability, to my knowledge, is relatively less, sir. And solar only abundant quantity is there. Only recycling mechanism we should develop. The material, once solar panel is spoiled and then recycle it, and we see that it is new one is produced. That recycling mechanism, it is to be developed. I think that is going to work if there is a proper development of recycling. I don't know how far it is practicable.
It would happen, sir. We have to do everything in moderation. Too much is dangerous to health also, I mean, in general. And one more thing we have to keep in mind is, before giving all the licenses to the industries, we should have a tab on this kind of industries. If we overdo these things, we unnecessarily develop false competition and some people would lose money. And, that may go to any extent, right? We have seen all these things time in and time again. One of my favorite area, since you are all engineers, and that is my pet idea also, pet dream also, I would say. Since India has ocean three sides, we should be thinking about tidal energy also. We have a lot of engineers in the country, that would provide a lot of employment, just like solar energy, etc. That's one way to look at.
In Denmark, we can see.
Yes. Yeah. Denmark is leader in that thing. Yeah, I agree. So that kind of model. Actually, they are expanding the land mass, even though they are small land mass country, right? That is creative, but we don't know how far the nature would excuse them, but they're trying.
Yes.
So that is also a reverse engineering. Let's see how far they can do. We cannot really predict what Mother Nature do, but again, my belief is we should be able to operate within its limitations. And other thing that worries me is we already crossed 9 planetary boundaries. 6 planetary boundaries out of 9 planetary boundaries. So whatever the engineering we do, whatever the ideas we spin for our own civilization prospects from here onwards, we should be looking at those things so that we don't bite our nails thinking that we did that mistake again. So, and it is, whatever we do from here onwards is a challenging one. I agree with that. It is not easy, but we all have to collectively do this, because all this, whatever we are doing, if not for ourselves, is for our next generation, right? So this struggle that we are going through in our life, technically is for our next generation, for betterment of their livelihood, education, whatnot, right? And everything else. So we shouldn't be doing wrong steps here. And regulation is also important in that context. We have matured society now, educated people. We can take anybody under our wing, no bad arguments. No, let them, even it is a bad idea, let give some percentage to implement that and let them fail so that they would start working with us at least. Otherwise, it could be a political hardship, mental hardship, and also financial hardship also for anybody. My philosophy is let us encourage a good ideas and create a flat architecture. No egos, only eco.
That's true. Thank you, sir, for your.
Thank you very much, sir. Lot of information we got it. We never expected. It is highly practical and so much collection of data. I never expected. Really, we are very, very thankful, sir. Again, we will be requesting you again and again, so that your valuable time we will be requesting you one more time or
some other occasions.
In other occasions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity again, sir. Thank you all attendees, including Brahma Reddy Garu. I hope I haven't stolen his time to speak as a special guest. If we have some more minutes, let's do that because I have time.
We continue with the program. Today's webinar's glacier preservation chief guest of the program, Engineer B. Brahma Reddy Garu, FIE, 5G expert and former CEO, and also past chairman of IATSC. And I will give the brief introduction on behalf of Dr. K. Anand Kishore. Engineer B. Brahma Reddy Garu, Chartered Engineer India, is an alumni of IA, associated with IA for more than 50 years, presently serving as a 5G expert and mentor to startups, advisor to SRB board, Bose Reddy Engineering Group of Institutions, Hyderabad, board member, Sainik Welfare Board, Government of Telangana, previously served as chairman, IEA Telangana State Center, former secretary and Director General IEA, former Secretary IIAP Hyderabad, former member Electronics and Telecom Engineering Division Board IA Kolkata, former member on Board of Management Engineering Staff College of India Hyderabad, former chairman AISC Kolkata, former Honorary Secretary IIT ARB TS and AP States Hyderabad, former senior executive PSB, former vice president Toshiba America MRI San Francisco, former member technical support Digitals India Delhi, former radar engineer Indian Air Force with great achievements and different associated with different cadres and serving for different associations. Engineer Brahma Reddy Garu, sir, please address the gatherings. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Giridhar Garu, for the nice introduction of me. And I would like to finish very fast because already is more than 1 hour 40 minutes. It's a nice, most enlightening and insightful presentation by our friend Prasad Jaladi Garu. And it is really a befitting celebration of the World Water Day on this occasion. Not only today, we have been celebrating right from 22nd. Our Gonuguntla Kondal Rao Garu is also a participant of this program. He was the keynote speaker, and he has given an excellent presentation by total illustrations of the glaciers and how they get melted and how the disadvantages, all those things, and nicely. And yesterday, that was for Ramagundam branch, local center. Yesterday, Dr. I. Satyanarayan Raju, our council member, he has given a very, very informative and useful content about the how this water day and how what is the importance of water, how these glaciers convert the water into these things, and for the Kottagudem local center. And today we all seen how the Dr. Prasad Garu has presented. It's really, I am really benefited with Prasad Garu. Last, I think 5-6 years we are associated. And even we met in, we had a discussion in the US also. He is a native of Austin, Texas, this one. And really, sir, is see the way he presented, he has just brought, I thought why he is showing Suraksha. I had the patience to wait for it and nicely explained what is the Suraksha Foundation is doing for the society. And then he brought into the glacier, global glacier retreat and the state latest thing, how this is melting and what is the impact, how it is happening, not only in the entire states of the North America or America, but even Asia, South Asia and India and other glaciers also, how it affected worldwide. And that is really as a great lecture, I feel. And also in India, what are the glaciers and how it should be protected, and what are the challenges that are facing and how that should be safeguarded in the future is a really great presentation. And so we are really, because I don't want to, there are so many stalwarts also in this, like the chairman himself, the Warangal, and the honorary secretary Giridhar Garu, the first chairman Raghaval Garu, and our Nagesh Garu was our member for a long period. He has associated with our IEI when he was a member secretary in government of the then government of Andhra, AP and Telangana, and our expert environmentalist Dr. Potturi Narayan Rao Garu, and our Dr. Rameshwar Rao Garu, who is also director of the SK and is also one of the practitioners of environmental, and our good friend Surendra Reddy from SLV board, and all other friends and known elders, and Ramanuja Charl Garu is a elderly, very, very senior member of our previous committee, plus now he is a corporate member. And really, it's a really this year's, I think, we have celebrated. I'm very happy. I'm associated with all the 3 days and different distinguished speakers, and in their own excellence, they have given so much information that really, as the people who have not attended, they really missed it. And I request, if anybody has missed, please go to the site of our Telangana State Center, because the Zoom meeting is conducted and provided by the Telangana State Center to all the local centers. You can easily find and how best they are really presented. None you can compare, none with anybody, but the way they are presented, the matter, the content is so useful and so enlightenment is achieved by me. I really felt all the 3 days. I just want to encourage all the centers, and there is in council there is that Ramagundam and Kothagudam is under threat for closing, and which already Kothagudam we have put on the track last from November after my return from US. We have done more than 8 programs. Fortunately, unfortunately, I think this is not recorded there, and they were telling it is 0 program. 8 programs by a local center is not a joke. Even myself traveled personally last week on 15th. We delivered 1-day lecture along with one of the scientists from the ISRO. This is what we want to see, that not only Telangana State Center, the entire Telangana as a whole as the engineers should benefit, and all the stakeholders should benefit. That was the idea. And Prasad Garu and everybody, in fact, has reviewed and how the importance of these glaciers is not only for in India, the entire world, because without the glacier, I think our G.K. Rao Garu said, the snowfall, it takes 100 years to become ice, but it takes no time to get it melted because of the climate change and other whatever is the now carbon footprint and all those things. And I'm sure, but in the days to come, and as they were also asking a lot of for solar and renewable energy, and the government has already declared, even in budget, the India is going to become the 3rd largest producing renewable energy country in the days to come. And I think from a few 75 gigawatts of gigawatts, it is now planned for more than 300 gigawatts of this renewable energy in the days to come. And definitely the government is also doing, we should appreciate when good thing is done by a government. So like that, the floods which we have been seeing how the lakes burst were there, even in Uttarakhand last 3-4 years, and a lot of human loss, and also the financial loss, property loss to the people. But all that, I think with a lot, of course, with all, he has mentioned a lot of how to save, how saving the glaciers can be, what the measures are to be taken, and he has explained so nicely with one simple slide. And really, it's wonderful, sir, your thing. And we must be very, very careful, and the loss of biodiversity, that the glacier fed all ecosystem must support the uniqueness of the, and see that the risk is due to the changing water of the flows. And similarly, the impact on agriculture and energy, that should be by reducing the glacier melting water, which affects the irrigation and the hydro generation. That should be also taken care by the government. And as he said, all the 3 said actually, all the 3 speakers from, I'm quoting from the last 3 lectures of the 3 days, the same occasion of the celebration of the World Water Day, very, very important day. And actually without water, I think human or any living thing will survive, will not survive without water and without air and without this thing. And if already air is polluted, which you cannot control, and at least water and can be controlled, which is within the governments, or all, not only government, it is every individual and every organization. Everybody should have responsibility, and they should feel that is a very, very important commodity for the survival of the human being. And also artificial glaciers and ice stupas also should be created. That is one of the innovative solution. also monitoring technologies. Our Dr. G.K. Rao Garu mentioned about the drones and AI-based climate models, all those things, and like that. And all the technology, new technology, must be brought into the action to find these things and see that they are also one of the technology must be utilized for saving the glaciers in the future, so that the water is saved and fresh water or natural fresh water is available to each and every one of citizen of our country and as well as in the world also. In conclusion, I would say that we commemorate this World Water Day as a 2025. Let us remember that glaciers are not just a frozen masses of ice, but they are the use of the important product for the planet, and that must be carrying life to billions of humans and living things, and it must be definitely preserved. And though rightly and timely the UN has taken this topic and made a decision to send everywhere awareness among entire world. So really, if we do not act now, the future generations will definitely face severe water crisis. Even we are facing nowadays in the city. I don't know. Even some villages I've seen yesterday TV. Everybody with they are doing dharna on the roads because already started. This is not glacier. This thing, even with the climate, the heat, the temperature is going up. Things are already happening, and let us just simply assume if the entire glacier also melts and the water goes into the river, to the ocean. And even there is a prediction that even like the Texas and Mexico border, there were some 30 cities in the previous decades have been merged into the water. They simply vanished cities, and same thing is going to be repeated even in our country, Bay of Bengal border, right from Chennai to the, I think, up to the Bangladesh. That is the prediction. Read an article on that, why it should be taken more and more important. And now I urge all of you and me to take this message forward and protect glaciers today to secure water for tomorrow. The slogan, and together through the innovation, awareness, and collective action, we can ensure that glaciers continue to sustain life on Earth for centuries to come. And that is how, let us pledge to make every drop of water count. That is should be a pledge by me, but all of you. And for this, we conducted this celebration, not celebration. In fact, the message, though the year only 35 engineers or scientists and the research attended the program, sir, please 30 into 30, 900, it should reach the message. Please make it square of this thing, and see that the message goes that these Telangana centers have really in a purposeful and with a motive to save this water, which is most important product of our life. So this, please you percolate the whatever message you received to your neighbors and your friends and your near and dear everybody. And with this, I thank everybody for of this, especially all the three local centers for taking up such a nice day as their beginning, because I have seen Ramagundam, Kothagudam, they both are lacking. The council has pointed out by the headquarter IEI. So please let us start this as a beginning and do all the statutory programs. There are 10 statutory programs. Besides all that, you can do some webinars and this thing. This is a message. Already, I think Kothagudam Honorary Secretary is also in the as a attendee in this. Sir, this will go. And Warangal, of course, sir, you have a lot potential, sir, with the NIT and other this thing. Please do, sir. You take the help of Telangana State Center. Here, everybody is proactive in Telangana State Center members. And you call anybody. When you call me, I will come at my own. Even I have come. I know Raghav Garu knows. The previous 3 times I came Warangal. And even I stayed myself at my own cost and own expenditure. I helped you, sir. And I am always ready to help you.
Certainly, sir. Certainly.
Please Please do more and more program. You associate with Telangana, do some big program, not just a small webinar. Do 2 days program, All India seminar, and different topics. And you have many knowledge people in the NIT and in and around the Warangal. In fact, compared to the Kottagudem lacks some facilities there. Other than there are engineers, but everybody after going home, they sleep. They don't try to improve. This is my message for the.
So to the Warangal local center on different
Yeah.
occasions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now you have become active, sir. Your will be Warangal center will be again role model for the other 2 local center, and see that they don't cross you, so that you have to do more program. And thank you very much. Thank everybody who have participated here. And I'm really indebted to the local centers and the Telangana State Center for giving me this opportunity. In the days to come, you call me for any this thing. We are readily available for your for helping you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. One question. Now, I don't know, from different newspapers, I was reading that some of the countries, because melt on the glaciers, because a part of the glacier is melting, and so temperature is rising. So some of the countries, it is, I understood that they are planning to shift their population to that glacier surface and settle there. That is why paper news I am reading now and then. Is it correct, sir?
Sir, I am only not a presenter or a keynote speaker. I am a chief guest. No need to answer any question anyway. But see, all countries are having, but let us take our India. At least we can't go and do anything in any other country. There's a global issue, global already on climate change. A lot of at global level issues have been taken up, and even threat by the US fellows in the other countries that India is doing more, China is doing more. All these things are, instead of blaming, everybody should come together and act, and so that it is the question of mankind, whether it is not India or America or China or anything. Like you have seen Corona did not have any, it doesn't have any bias, sir. It did not see any country is a Thai, is a England, is a France. He killed everybody. And it taught a great lesson. Same thing lesson will come if the climate change. If we don't follow, at least what we can do at our individual level, we must do everything we can do. Similarly, government should do at government level, regional people should do at regional level, and then globally, as Prasad Garu so nicely gave how to saving the glaciers and all the reasons, leveraging leveraging of the native knowledge. That's what he said, and also tourism, ecotourism. And also forestation, that is simply cutting forest. Now you see no trees. Why it is so hot in Warangal? Because plantation is, you simply cut and don't blast. We don't, not you in the sense I am telling in general way. So it's applicable to me also. That is how the strict regulations must be there, and it should be implemented. And India, every good regulation, good laws, good everything is there in every field. The implementation and the executive part is lacking, and we will not fall behind as engineers of an institution of engineers. We are taken a pledge, sir, already. The pledge is that we save the water in the future, and whatever we can say, do it within our resources. Please, sir, that is what my message given already. And I hope your question is also partly answered.
No. One more question, sir. At least what I understood to my little knowledge, I understood that India is not planning, but advanced countries are planning to settle some of their population on the glacier. Is it correct? Did you
yes,
read
sir. Now you are talking about population. For my own selfishness, I am asking produce 10 people this thing. Earlier our slogan is one or none. First 1 or 2, after that it become 1 or none. Now they are telling I will give 15,000 everybody, you produce 10. Where do we learn? Already we are touching 150 crores. What is this thing? Either land is going to increase or water is going to increase? Nothing is going to increase. Even the pollution of the water, he has already told about pollution. a lot many things. Prasad Garu, even the earlier speakers, the 2 days also, they have expressed the concern about. So let us, at least that's what I said, sir. If I can take bath with one bucket, I should take with one bucket. Whereas there is a shower, you should ban all the showers. Otherwise, people keep on taking bath 1 hour, 1.5 hours and wasting water. So even wastage of water is also counted in this as a climate change. What is my opinion? So
Thank you, sir,
if
for
further
your,
you want, I request Prasad Garu to throw a light on that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Living on glaciers is excruciatingly troublesome life. Let's not even think about it. You know, all the expeditions go there, live a miserable life to get the data for us. So let's not think about those things. It might be 1 or 2 people who settle there to do research, etc. But the thing is, it's a lonely life, even on the Arctic and both sides of the polar, regions. I envision, protecting polar ice and other ice, other glaciers by doing some other things. We can actually cover those glaciers with some textiles kind of thing, which would eventually reflect the heat back into the atmosphere. That way we could improve the life of the glacier for a while. But these are all long shots. We don't know. Trial and error. But anyway, living on glacier is the hell. So let's not go there. Let's protect them instead.
Covering also it is not that easy, sir, because a vast area. Covering
I agree.
It is a vast area. I think too cumbersome.
I agree. So I know it's a challenge. The reason why I'm little bit hopeful on small regions is some of my friends would like to deflect the heat to reduce the temperature. We are crossing 1.5 degrees. So some of my scientific friends are pushing some ideas to the government of USA so that they would do some solar radiation back to the atmosphere again and throw some sulfur in the atmosphere. All these kind of ideas. They look positive in theory, but in practical, we do not know the ancillary issues that would pop up. This is just a thought. We don't know. We don't know. Those are all the consequences for our bravery and scientific approaches, so on and so forth.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. A lot of information we got it.
Yes, sir. So now this is the time. It's a great pleasure for me to express a vote of thanks for this program presentation on glacier preservation webinar. We are very thankful for our chief guest of this webinar, Engineer B. Brahma Reddy Garu, FIE, 5G expert and former CEO IA, immediate chairman IA TSC. And also we are very thankful for our eminent speaker, today's Dr. Prasad Jaladi, social entrepreneur and founder and chief facilitator of Suraksha. And also we are very thankful for Dr. G. Subbayya Garu, FIE, chairman IA TSC. Ram Babu Garu, FIE, Honorable Secretary IA, State Center. We are thankful for Engineer Ramesh Garu, Joint Honorary Secretary IA TSC. And we are also thankful for today's dignitaries on this online event. Gonugantla Kundalini Garu, Vanam Srinivas Garu, Surendra Reddy Garu, BB Reddy Garu, Dr. G. Rameshwar Rao Garu, Engineer S. Saravanan Garu, Engineer R. Raghavulu Garu, Hanumantachari Garu, Professor Ramana Nayak Garu, Goli, Ashok Reddy Garu, Putturi Narayan Rao Garu, D. Rama, Deputy Executive Engineer, Dr. Gupta, and Karnakar Reddy Garu, to all and others, we are expressing very thankful for you. Thank you very much, sir.
Congratulations
for national anthem. Sir.
Yes, congrats. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much. So we should.
Let us
Okay,
raise
Namaste,
for
President.
national anthem, sir.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Congrats, Jayashetty garu. Congratulations.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I also appreciate the staff of Telangana State Center. They have taken all the pain making flyer, all these things.
Thank
Even
you.
on Sunday they came and they made for this Warangal because we could get our chairman garu.
Thank you for the staff of Telangana State Center.
Giridhar garu also collected their photo. They have a lot of patience. Our boys, we appreciate both Ratnam and the new boy Panam Sri. They have taken a lot of pain to make this. Actually, all the three centers programs have become grand success and now on this important topic called Water Day because of that. Their contribution is for actually for the pushing into the
Brahmadi gariki special thanks.
they
Brahmadi sir pushing.
90%. Of course, my guidance is there only 10%.
No, definitely,
Thank
definitely.
you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Congrats, sir. Membership
Glad that
package, sir.
many of you participated.
Thank you very much, Andy, for Warangal chapter for organizing this program.
Yeah.
I have joined this
Very
meeting
much.
to update myself on the subject. Because long back I organized such programs when I was in Science and Technology Department.
Yes, sir.
I request the Prasad Garu to organize some awareness
Great.
programs from your CPS funds also, sorry, CSR funds in schools and colleges. Is it possible? Because you are in pharma industry.
So we'll make sure that you are, I request you to be more associated with this. You were so kind enough during your tenure. You were really so many awards we have given on engineering day. That is
Engineers Award, young
September
engineer.
15th. But of late, you kindly use your good influence and help us in the years to come. We'll encourage more students and more engineers. India is not lacking the knowledge or the expertise or the brains. The best brains in the world is Indians. And today, our Prasad Garu himself is an example. He is excellent in hosting. He is with a nice foundation and doing a lot of service as well as also.
One of my colleagues, Mr.
And similarly, there are 16 CEOs heading the topmost companies of the world. By our Indian, we must be very, very proud and let us develop our younger generation to that level. That is my request, sir. And that we can do through our services in Institution of Engineering.
Yeah, my other colleague, member secretary of HP, Himachal Pradesh, is
Yes,
an IFS officer. He has done research work on glaciers. He has published many papers also.
Yes.
So we have to pick up such persons and to give awareness programs.
This
Thank
is
you,
very
Professor
interesting.
Garu, for enlightening us with a very informative talk on some special topics. Saving
This is-
glaciers and
Yeah, this
effects
is
of
very,
global warming on glaciers, etc. You have touched important topics. It's very informative. Thank you very much.
Sir, my advice to Warangal, why don't you plan one big event of 2 days? I will get you sponsor for 6 to 8 lakhs. It was promised by the director. Even we can try in Hyderabad also, Development Corporation is there. But all the three together you can do centers, all the local centers, and it will be counted for as a program for each one of you. And you also can involve us, or even if you want, conduct in Hyderabad also. we are ready to give you all. Our chairman is here. He is very kind enough. Dr. Venkat Subbai Garu and Sitaram Garu. They always talk about betterment of the local center and improvement. So I request you, sir, you can talk to the chairman also. If you come out with some concrete, Ramchandra Reddy Garu, we will definitely help you, sir, from our side. Not only from the center, even on our personal basis, wherever we can get sponsors also can help you. Our Professor Naik is having a lot of affiliation with many companies and politically also. So let us take advantage of his position in political circles and extract. We are not able to till date, but we should utilize. He is here. I thank him here.
JNT Mantani and Balram sir there. Balram sir.
Okay, anything you can discuss now because Janganman is over. So everybody is now. Okay, meeting is there. Okay, sir, we are having some meeting. Thank you for this thing.
Thank you.
Prasad Garu, again we'll meet.
So thanks for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.